Hello, I'm Marilyn Chase, your state senator from the 32nd Legislative District. Our research universities as state agencies have three missions: education, research, and service. The costs of these three missions have been bundled together as higher education, and the costs shifted onto undergraduate tuition, or so it seems. University administrations continue to raise student fees while expanding administrative and non-instructional programs at the expense of undergraduate instruction. We hear of cuts in departmental programs and course offerings, reduced instructional staff and support, and larger class sizes. We hear of students not able to take the courses they need to complete their degree requirements in time. We also hear of the intrusion of financial aid requirements into academic programs, requiring students to take more classes than they may need or be able to be successful with, penalizing students if they are forced to drop a course because of illness or to help with family responsibilities, and pressuring students relying on student loans to take easy courses, since if they were to fail a course, they might lose their financial aid. The high tuition, high aid model of financing higher education is not correlated with student attainment. Yet this is the model being pursued by our leading public universities. If student fees continue to rise, then we will shortly be in an entirely new environment, one akin to private universities, where undergraduate fees are required to subsidize research administration, patent licensing, commercialization and technology transfer of those patents, graduate programs, and to grow capital within the central bank operated by the UW Treasury Office. While these other activities may be important, students and the public should know what they are paying for and what they ought to be paying for. Students now are paying more than what our research universities are spending on their instruction. At the University of Washington, less than 2/3 of tuition dollars are spent on instruction. I'm sponsoring a bill asking for an audit that focuses on concrete questions about existing financial expenditures. And it brings a new party of interest: the undergraduate students and their parents who now pay so much of the bills at these public agencies. This bill asks for a clear accounting of expenditures on undergraduate instruction. We are not debating philosophy of what, beyond instruction, should be borne by students and their families, but rather we are debating the accounting of those additional charges so we all know whether or not tuition covers the cost of instruction. The universities have claimed publicly that students are not paying nearly enough. Now we ask that the universities provide the documentation to back up their claim. Instruction is an activity which is separable from research in activity-based accounting. While faculty research is integral to education, not all research, and certainly much of research administration and the financing of new research facilities, has little to do with what an undergraduate experiences in the course of their training. How much do our universities expend to support their instructional mission? The Milken Institute has just published an assessment of science in the United States. Washington State has maintained its ranking of 5th in the country, which is something we should all be pleased about. But in the details of the ranking, Washington State ranked 23rd, or in the middle, on its investments in human capital, in its support for instruction, financial aid, degree programs that produce scientists and engineers, and the like. Our state is the only state in the top 10 in science with an investment in human capital that is not also in the top 10. Our future starts with our commitment to train undergraduates. So how much are we spending on this important task? Right now, no one knows. Or if they do know, they are not telling us. Let's find out, so we can then talk philosophy and make choices about what is worth funding and whether we ask students to pay more for their training. If so, then we should tell them exactly what they are being asked to pay for in addition to that training. Given the known actual expenditures of these public agencies, my bill will ask our research universities to disaggregate the total cost of core academic functions so as to determine the actual cost of undergraduate education. This will be accomplished in 4 ways. 1, we extract the expenditures for instruction that go to undergraduate teaching. And 2, we add a portion for academic support, for example, libraries. Number 3, we also add a portion of overhead. And number 4, add expenditures for student services not covered by other fees. These actions will give us a good indication of the total cost of undergraduate education. Divide that number by the number of undergraduate students or full-time equivalents to get a unit cost of undergraduate instruction. Studies at other major research universities show that undergraduate fees cover more than 100% of the actual cost of undergraduate education. The question, not previously asked, is this: is there some logical, moral, or political limit to the high student tuition fees that could be raised at a public research university? Why should students be paying for research administration or to bolster cash holdings so universities can have better credit ratings and gain access to capital at lower rates, capital that they are using for most anything other than undergraduate instruction? A fee level at not more than what is needed to cover 100% of the actual costs of their education would be a reasonable starting point. Beyond that, students and their parents are being forced not only to pay for everything they get, but must also subsidize other functions: graduate education, faculty research, and commercialization of patents, debt stabilization, and bond reserves for the ambitious building programs. But students and the public, and we as the public's representatives, have been told repeatedly that students are not paying nearly enough. It's time for accounting to back up that claim. It is time we have an informed, data-driven discussion on this important public policy issue. That's all for this week. And as always, I want you to know what you think. Please contact my office with any questions, comments, or concerns. My information is at the bottom of your screen. Thanks for watching.